I'm Rita Giacalone, Vice President of Culture, Diversity, and Belonging at Autodesk. The Culture, Diversity, and Belonging team ensures that we have a very healthy cultural foundation at Autodesk so that diversity and belonging can truly thrive. I'm super motivated when I hear from an employee, a coworker, and they say something like this: the work that your team is doing actually helps me feel more of a sense of belonging and inclusion at Autodesk. It's when I get the email from a manager saying that the training we provided helped create a more inclusive experience at Autodesk. It's when the culture work that we do makes people's everyday lives just a little bit easier at work. My team is really motivated by our efforts to create a culture of belonging at Autodesk. So we know that when we bring diverse perspectives together, people of diverse backgrounds, diverse identities, that when we can bring that together and really create this culture of belonging where people truly feel valued and celebrated for not just what they do, but for who they are, we win. As a company, we win as a team, and it really keeps us motivated. We call it sparkling moments on our team when we learn of examples of increased inclusion, increased belonging, the celebration of our diversity at the company.
My name is Ann Pauley, and I'm an engineering program manager for our commercial systems at Culture Biosciences in San Francisco. I work on developing hardware for our program. I also work on the manufacturing side, bringing things into production, as well as being a liaison with our team that actually uses our hardware day to day and getting feedback from them and improving it.
My name is Brandon Kramer. I'm a principal research engineer within the Manufacturing Industry Futures team within Autodesk Research. Additive manufacturing is kind of my focus in the more advanced manufacturing industry. I find my motivation comes from the team that I'm working on. You want to make sure that there's some elements of community that you can show up as your true self.
My name is Danny Ryan. Currently, I'm the Director of Technical Training at Autodesk, based in San Francisco. I'm originally from Ireland. I studied electrical engineering originally, and I worked in that field in the Netherlands, in Ireland, and also spent about 19 years working in the semiconductor field in Silicon Valley. I came here to Autodesk as a gay man, and this was the first company that I felt comfortable enough to be out and to bring as much as myself to work as I can.
Hi, I'm Marty. I'm a product manager for Fusion 360, which is our cloud-connected CAD, CAM, electronics, engineering software. Back in college, I was getting a degree in mechanical engineering, but started to work in the student machine shop where I got introduced to manufacturing through manual machining. And then through an internship with Autodesk, I learned Inventor CAM, and got to run CNC machines. Went through a variety of roles in customer success, technical marketing, and now I'm a product manager.
My name is Mikako Harada. I work for Autodesk as a member of the team called Developer Advocacy and Support. And my role is managing a group of engineers who does support for the third-party developers. I actually struggled quite a lot with discrimination against women, and I fight it at the company when I was in Japan. That's how I actually ended up traveling in different countries.
My name is Omari Brandon. I'm a senior principal experience designer at Autodesk, and I design learning experiences for our customers to create holistic experience for our customers but also give them the tools in which they can quickly and easily develop those skills for use in their professional or education environments.
My name is Rana Hamid. I am a BIM manager and I have my own BIM consultancy firm after around 12 or 13 years in BIM implementation in a multinational organization. Being a woman or a female gives me a lot of strength in working in the industry. I have received the encouragement from all the community.
My name is Stacy Barkley. I am the Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leader for DPR Construction. A lot of my previous work was in some kind of tangential role, but it touched on DEI. How do we address, understand, recognize, and mitigate barriers to various populations?
So that feeling of belonging happens in so many different ways, and you derive it in so many different places. I would say that my team members, who I work with so closely day in, day out, who we share frustrations as well as celebrate our successes, that really brings me a true sense of belonging.
Working across different teams and interacting with different types of backgrounds, I get to be exposed to a lot of different fields like bioprocess or sales or marketing or operations.
I have been very lucky in that I pretty instantly found a sense of community with my team, I think. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of the people that I work with now for the last 4 or 5 years. They were all super willing to sit down with me, explain things I didn't know, make sure I was successful.
I learned a lot from my bosses and managers and team leaders. They taught me how to be proactive, how to be collaborative with my team, how to initiate solving issues.
I'm really proud of the partnership that we have with our employee resource groups. We have 7 employee resource groups at Autodesk, and it's an opportunity for communities to come together and truly build that sense of belonging.
So with ABN, or Autodesk Black Network, I serve as the community outreach lead, which kind of means I get to start to meet new people, learn what people do within Autodesk, expand my network outside of my traditional Autodesk research team. I start to learn about people in the different departments and divisions in Autodesk.
We also have been involved in raising money and supporting a couple of different worthy causes. Maven Youth, for example, is a program for young, from ages 14 up to 20 youth who are LGBT+, and we have hosted them twice in San Francisco. It's been my great pleasure to do that myself. In fact, the last time our CEO, Andrew, came to spend time with them, and that was just a really impressive event and also very indicative of the kind of support that we're getting from upper management.
Being a part of an employee resource group like Autodesk Black Network helps to establish community and a sense of not always being on, if that makes sense. It also affords opportunities for folks that live outside of those communities to participate as well. It gives us all an environment in which we can, with limited pressure and expectation, to simply learn who we are as individuals, as a group, etc.
One of the things, just as an example, that we've done this year is created a monthly series that really focuses on different heritage or history months, where we bring in both internal and external people to talk about real life experiences, their experiences in the industry, outside of the industry, what it means to show up as their best authentic self, what are some of the barriers, challenges that exist, and what are some of the amazing opportunities that exist as well. And so that's just one way that we've sought to build a more diverse and inclusive community within DPR. They find a home and a family here at DPR, and they feel that they are both included, that they are belonged, that they are cared for, and that what they do matters. And so that shows up in a myriad of ways, from our talent acquisition processes through our talent management and development to our offboarding processes.
We are the culture, diversity, and belonging team. And I want to distinguish between inclusion and belonging, and why belonging is so critical. So inclusion is an action. It's, you can feel included on a team, in a company, but belonging is an outcome. It's a felt sense of really being valued for what you bring to the table. So you can bring a diverse group of people together. What you need is inclusion added to diversity. What you need is a welcoming of diverse perspectives, a true curiosity to understand difference. And that's what creates this felt sense of belonging. So when you have diverse perspectives coming together, and it's empowered by this feeling of inclusion, of feeling valued, respected, even celebrated for who you are, the magic happens. You're able to then produce better outcomes, be more creative, be more innovative, and produce solutions that truly reflect the world we live in.
When you have a diverse group of folks in the same room, or thinking about the same problem, or executing the same vision, you have all of those different thoughts and ideas that become part of the mix, and it creates an environment in which the best ideas are available to us.
When the team feels most comfortable, when everyone feels that sense of belonging, when everyone feels included, we see, more ideas generated.
Especially with engineering problems, there's almost never one correct answer. And so having a more diverse group of opinions, you a lot of times come to a better conclusion than you would have.
Diversity gives us a lot of strength. It lets us be stronger. Each person have its own charisma, okay, that can perform in a different way than the other, and so we need to contribute with each other to overcome and face all the challenges that we are facing.
Sometimes it's interesting that people who are very difficult to collaborate actually is very nice when you meet in person. So I actually learned that don't judge people by just looking at the one way of communication. When we get together with those different diverse people, diverse background, we actually have a bigger view of solving a problem.
Coming to Autodesk, I was not out as a gay man, and to tell one story, I was running a learning and development function for a semiconductor company, and we were running an executive offsite, an executive mentoring program, and one of the exercises was to draw your lifeline. But I remember when I drew out my line, I sanitized it. I left out very significant events in my own life that would have revealed who I was. And by not bringing my whole self into even something like that, that was really stealing my ability to show up as completely authentic, and it was also preventing people from getting to know me and understand me. Having different viewpoints really helps us provide better products for our customers. And two, if we can't allow our employees to bring all of their powers to play, then we're really not getting the best out of them.
So you really need to know who your various workforce populations are, and understand what they need, and that's that recognition of barriers that might exist. Not everyone needs the same thing, and part of this work is really taking the time and the energy to understand the needs of a diverse workforce, whatever that diversity might look like, and make sure that we're endeavoring to eliminate those barriers and meet those needs so that people can achieve their aspirations.
I think if we are all coming from the same perspective, we are often losing out on other equally valid perspectives, and we're going to not speak to large parts of our potential market and, said a different way, our community. So I think it's really important that, we honor the different perspectives that exist today and actively seek out and reach out to people who aren't represented on our teams and bring them into the fold.
So our communities of color have faced significant challenges over the past year. The murder of George Floyd, the anti-Asian violence, not just in the United States, but all over the world, created lots of consternation, worry, feelings of isolation for our communities of color. And what our ERGs did was to create that space, create community, so that people could come together and really talk about the impact that the external world was having on their work lives. And what we did as a team is we created resources and opportunities really to bring folks together, whether it be facilitated conversations or simply having people talk in a town hall about their experiences that enabled people to feel just a little bit of relief, even in the midst of incredible hardship. So at Autodesk, we know our data shows us that belonging is a key component of our employee satisfaction, of their levels of engagement, and we spend a lot of time and effort focused on building belonging.
Having a really inclusive environment where folks aren't really afraid to speak up in a meeting or reach out afterwards or get in contact with myself or a customer directly is really, it really makes a big impact. And I see it, our teammates see it, our customers see it, and I think that's really just a huge benefit about working at a place like Autodesk.
Autodesk as a company was very implicitly supportive of its employees, including LGBT plus employees. That move from being implicit to being explicit, while might seem very subtle, it has a very profound effect on us. If you walk into an office and you see around the office that people have put up rainbow flags, so that might seem frivolous and fun during Pride season, but for a person who identifies as LGBT+, it's a real sign that this might be a safe place for you to be. The simple task of people changing their names on Zoom video conferencing to add their pronouns, to see that somebody cared to be explicit is also a sign that maybe this is also a safe place for me to be who I am.
Making things that are very powerful also accessible to different groups of people. This could be through learning content, it could be through pricing, it could be through device independence, the ability to run programs not only on a big powerful desktop workstation, but also on an iPad or something, more widely available.
Our customers are not all from the same background. Our customers do not all do the same things with our products and use them in the same way, and so on. And so to the degree that we are able to diversify ourselves from an employee standpoint, it creates a situation where we have fertile ground to develop the best products we can for our customers as well.
In my experience, diversity on design and engineering teams is extremely important because it not only changes the dynamic of the conversation around design, but it also produces results that take into account all the different types of users that could be using that product. So for example, the work that I do now, ergonomics is critical So the height of our equipment, the reach of the equipment, it all has to be designed for a really wide range of people and a wide range of experiences.
Where we are constructing, it builds up a community when you are partnering with those firms and agencies in that community that are diverse. It helps to build up the overarching community itself. Depending on the size of a company, the buying power of an organization within a local community that they have an office to be able to utilize diverse suppliers for those internal needs is huge and transformative. So it is absolutely a part of our overarching global social responsibility strategy.
So I have two pieces of advice. I have advice for the individuals who are passionate about entering a field like construction, manufacturing, engineering, architecture. But I also have advice for the companies who are hiring these individuals. So on an individual basis, when you're thinking about, is this a place where I'd like to be? Is this a company that I'd like to work for? Ask questions about the culture. Ask questions about how they create a feeling of inclusion and belonging at the company. Ask them what they do to support individuals who may have differences. For example, you might be from an underrepresented group, or maybe even a woman in tech. You want to ensure that the company you're considering is very thoughtful about how they build a sense of inclusion and belonging. So if you're a company attracting people from diverse backgrounds who are bringing in different perspectives, be sure that you're doing the work of diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Be sure that you're providing the right guidance to your leaders and managers so that they have the tools and resources to truly create teams that are empowered by their diversity through inclusion, with that outcome being that felt sense of belonging, that felt sense of being valued, not just for what people do or what people produce, but for who they are.
My advice will be don't be afraid to make mistakes and then challenge anything you feel like you are interested in. And I also want to encourage the young females who are joining this field. It's an exciting field, and it's a creative area. So I definitely want to encourage those teams or communities.
When I was entering this field, it did feel like my demographic wasn't well represented. And so I kind of did two things. I found people who were similar to me that I could bounce thoughts and ideas off of. But then I also went out of my way to talk to people who were completely different than me. No matter what your background is, you will find other people in your industry that have a similar background and a similar experience. Sometimes you may not find those people in your company or at your school, but you can find them through networks and through organizations.
Try new things, ask lots of questions. It does not make you dumb to ask questions. It means you're curious. People love to answer questions. It makes them feel smart. So don't be afraid to do that. And yeah, I think specifically to young women who are looking to come into manufacturing, just take up space. You deserve to be here.
What I would say to someone considering a career in this industry who may not see themselves currently in a particular role or opportunity is to approach it through the lens of limitless possibilities and understand that there was always a first someone someplace. Be the first person to raise your hand, be the first person to say, I want that opportunity, and look at all opportunities through the lens of limitless possibilities. We are oftentimes more constrained by what we know than by what we don't know. So it's okay to walk into the unknown and be a trailblazer and be the first and set the tempo for others to follow.
To a young person interested in working in software or pretty much any industry as a whole, and even outside of industry, I would just encourage you to be curious, to remain curious. Even more established professionals who are looking to perhaps change their career or what have you. Don't let a lack of representation or visibility into those roles prevent you from aspiring to what it is that you want to be. Someone's got to be the first, and it might as well be you.
We're living in an uncertain time. Just when we think something's not going to change in our external lives, it does. The extent to which we can create this experience of belonging, where people truly feel a sense of connection, where work and work colleagues can even be a place of respite in a world that often feels stressful. The more that we can create that sense of community, the more likely it is that people will feel that deep sense of connection to the mission and to the vision of whether it's Autodesk or your company. Autodesk builds software for customers, for companies who serve their customers worldwide. And these customers have differing needs. It is so important that Autodesk reflects that in our products so that our customers can reflect that in the things that they design and build to make our world not only more sustainable, but to create access and ease for people no matter who they are or where they live.